Hello everyone. Today I'm doing a reading practice of English and I'm reading this on the Nile by Agatha Christie. And today I am reading Chapter 9, Part 2, Chapter 9. As this, I am posting YouTube videos of my reading practice. And if you like it, or if you want to practice with me, or if you just want to follow me, please give me a like and subscribe. Thank you. Okay, here we go. Chapter 9. On the Monday morning, various expressions of delight and appreciation were heard on the deck of the Kanak. The steamer was moored to the bank and a few hundred years away. The morning sun just striking it was a great temple carved out of the face of the rock. Four colossal figures, hewn out of the cliff, looked out eternally over the Nile and faced the rising sun. Cornelia Robson said incoherently, "Oh, Monsieur Poirot, isn't it wonderful? I mean, they are so big and faithful, and looking at them makes one feel that one's so small, and rather like an insect, and that nothing matters very much, really. Does it?" Mr. Fanthorpe, who was standing nearby, murmured, "Very, impressive." "Grand, isn't it?" said Simon Doyle, strolling up. He went on confidentially to Poirot. "You know, I'm not much of a fellow for temples and sightseeing and all that, but a place like this sort of gets you, if you know what I mean. Those old pharaohs must have been wonderful fellows." The other heard drifted away. Simon lowered his voice. "I'm no end glad we came on this trip. It's cleared things up. Amazing what it should, but there it is. Lynette's got her never back. She said it's because she's actually faced the business at last." "I think that is very probable," said Poirot. "She said that when she actually saw Jackie on the boat, she felt terrible, and then suddenly it didn't matter anymore. We both agreed that we won't try to dodge her anymore. We'll just meet her on her own ground and show her that this ridiculous stunt of hers doesn't worry us a bit. It's just damned bad form, that's all. She thought she'd got us badly rattled, but now, well, we just aren't rattled anymore. That ought to show her." "Yes," said Poirot thoughtfully. "So that's splendid, isn't it?" "Oh, yes." Lynette came along the deck. She was dressed in a soft shade of apricot linen. She was smiling. She greeted Poirot with no particular enthusiasm, just gave him a cool nod and then drew her husband away. Poirot realized with a momentary flicker of amusement that he had not made himself popular by his critical attitude. Lynette was used to unqualified admiration of all she was or did. Askew Poirot had sinned noticeably against this creed. Mrs. Aladdin, joining him, murmured, "What a difference in that girl." She looked worried and not very happy at Aswin. Today she looked so happy that one might almost be afraid she was Faye. Before Poirot could respond as he meant, the party was called to order. The official dragoman took charge and the party was led ashore to visit Abu Simbel. Poirot himself fell into step with Andrew Penningston. "It is your first visit to Egypt, yes?" he asked. "Why, no. I was here in 1923. That is to say, I was in Cairo. I've never been this trip up the Nile before." "You came over on the Kermanek," I believe. At least so Madame Doyle was telling me. Pennington shot a shrewd glance in his direction. Why, yes, this is so, he admitted. I wondered if he had happened to come across some friends of mine who were abroad, the Russington Smith. I can't recall anyone of that name. The boat was full, and we had bad weather. A lot of passengers hardly appeared, and in any case, the voyage is so short one doesn't get to know who is on board and who isn't. Yes, that is very true. What a pleasant surprise you running into Madame Doyle and her husband. You had no idea they were married? No, Mrs. Doyle has written me, but the letter was forwarded on, and I only received it some day after our expected meeting in Cairo. You have known her for many years, I understand? Why, I should say I have, Monsieur Poirot. I have known Lynette Ridgway since she was just a cute little thing, so high. He made an illustrating gesture. Her father and I were lifelong friends. A very remarkable man, Melchior Ridgway, and a very successful one. His daughter comes into a considerable future, I understand. Pardon? Perhaps it is not delicate what I said there. Andrew Pennington seemed slightly amused. Oh, that's pretty common knowledge. Yes, Lynette's a wealthy woman, I suppose. That the recent slump is bound to affect any stocks, however sound they may be. Pennington took a moment or two to answer. He said at last, That, of course, is true to a certain extent. The position is very difficult in these days, Poirot murmured. I should imagine, however, that Madame Doyle has a keen business head. That is so. Yes, that is so. Lynette is a clever, practical girl. They came to a halt. The guide proceeded to instruct them on the subject of the temple built by the great Ramses, the four colossi of Ramses himself. One pair on each side of the entrance, hewn out of the living rock, looked down on the struggling little party of tourists. Signor Richetti, disdaining the remark of the drugman, was busy examining the relief of African and Syrian captives of the bases of the colossi on each side of the entrance. When the party entered the temple, a sense of dimness and peace came over them. The still vividly colored relief on some of the inner walls were pointed out, but the party tended to break up into groups. Dr. Bessner read sonorously in German from a Baedeker, pausing every now and then to translate for the benefit of Cornelia, who walked in a docile manner beside him. This was not to continue, however. Miss Schuyler, entering on the arm of the phlegmatic Miss Bowders, uttered a commanding, Cornelia, come here, and the introduction had perforce 2 seeds. Dr. Bessner beamed after her vaguely through his thick lenses. A very nice maiden, that, he announced to Poirot. She does not look so disturbed as some of these young women. No, she was nice curves. She listened to very intelligently. It is a pleasure to instruct her. It flitted across Porat's mind that it seemed to be Cornelia's fate either to be buried or instructed. In any case, she was always the listener, never the talker. Miss Bowers, momentarily released by the peremptory summons of Cornelia, was standing in the middle of the temple, looking about her with her cool, incurious gaze. Her reaction to the wonders of the past was succinct. The guide said the name of one of these gods or goddess was Mut. Can you beat it? There was an inn in the sanctuary where sat 4 figures, eternally presiding, strangely dignified in their dim aloofness. Before them stood Lynette and her husband. Her arms was in his, her face lifted, a typical face of the new civilization, intelligent, curious, and touched by the past. Simon said suddenly, "Let's get out of here. I don't like these 4 fellows, especially the one in the high hat. That's Ammon, I suppose. And that one is Ramses. Why don't you like them? I think they're very impressive. They're a damn sight too impressive. There's something uncanny about them. Come out into the sunlight." Lynette laughed, but yielded. They came out of the temple into the sunshine, with the sand yellow and warm about her feet. Lynette began to laugh, and at their feet in a row, presenting a momentarily gruesome appearance as though swung from their bodies, were the head of half a dozen boys. The eyes rolled, the head moved rhythmically from side to side, the lip chanted a new invocation. Hip, hip, hurry, hip, hip, hurry. Very good, very nice. Thank you very much. How absurd. How do they do it? Are they really buried very deep? Simon produced some small change. Very good, very nice, very expensive, he mimicked. 2 small boys in charge of the show picked up the coins neatly. Lynette and Simon passed on. They had no wish to return to the boat, and they were very weary of sightseeing. They settled themselves with their backs to the cliff and let the warm sun break them through. How lovely the sun is, thought Lynette. How warm, how safe. How lovely it is to be happy. How lovely to be me, Lynette. Her eyes closed. She was half asleep, half awake, drifting in the midst of thoughts that was like the sand drifting and blowing. Simon's eyes were open. They too held contentment. What a fool he'd been to be rattled that first night. There was nothing to be rattled about. Everything was all right. After all, one could trust Jackie. There was a shot, people running toward him waving their arms, shouting. Simon started stupidly for a moment. Then he sprang to his feet and dragged Lynette with him. Not a minute too soon, a big boulder hurling down the cliff, crashing past them. If Lynette had remained where she was, she would have been crushed to atoms. White-faced, they clung together. Rescue Port and Tim Allerton ran up to them. "Ma foi, madame, that was a near thing." All 4 instinctively looked up at the cliff. There was nothing to be seen, but there was a path along the top. Porat remembered seeing some logger walking along there when they had first come ashore. He looked at the husband and wife. Lynette looked dazed still, bewildered. Simon, however, was inarticulate with rage. God damn her! He ejaculated. He checked himself with a quick glance at Tim Allerton. The latter said, "Phew! That was near. Did some fool bowl the things over, or did it get Dutched on its own?" Lynette was very pale. She said with difficulty, "I think some fool must have done it. Might have crushed you like an eggshell. Sure you haven't got an enemy, Lynette?" Lynette swallowed twice and found difficulty answering the light-hearted Lily. Poirot said quickly, "Come back to the boat, madam. You must have a restorative. They walked quickly, Simon still full of pent-up rage, Tim trying to talk cheerfully and distinctly Lynette's mind from the danger she had run. Poirot with a grave face, and then, just as they reached the gangplank, Simon stopped dead. A look of amusement spread over his face. A look of amazement spread over his face. Jacqueline the Barefoot was just coming ashore, dressed in blue gingham. She looked childish this morning. "Good God," said Simon under his breath. "So it was an accident after all." The anger went out of his face. An overwhelming relief showed so plainly that Jacqueline noticed something amiss. "Good morning," she said. "I'm afraid I'm a little on the late side." She gave them all a nod and stepped ashore and proceeded in the direction of the temple. Simon clutched Poirot's arm. The other two had gone on. "My God, that's a relief, I thought. Poirot nodded. Yes, I know what you thought." But he himself still looked grave and preoccupied. He turned his head and noted carefully what had become of the rest of the party from the ship. Miss Banchero was slowly returning on the arm of Miss Bowers. A little farther away, Mrs. Allerton was standing laughing at a little row of heads. Mrs. Audubon was with her. The others were nowhere in sight. Poirot shook his head as he followed Simon slowly onto the boat. Okay, this is the end of the chapter 9. Thank you for listening, and I'm reading from the page 130 to 138. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 pages. But the first page and the last page is not completed because the first ended. And so I think this is totally 8 pages. And actually, I was engaging in my writing of my novel this morning for about over an hour, so I feel exhausted before starting this reading. But now I don't feel much exhausted, because this is a short and the sentence is not so much difficult. Although there's some places it's tricky for me. The difficult words are familiar, and some sentences I couldn't catch it. Yes, I agree, but basically this is not so difficult in this chapter. Okay, here they are going to Abzembo, the temple of the Ramses, the great Ramses II, which I really love him because he's a great architecture and he's a great conqueror. And he was going to the Love Temple, the very famous temple, but Simon looks bored inside the temple because I guess he's not interested in any structures or architectures. Although Lynette thought it's impressive. So this is the construct of the linear assignment too. Simon is always not appreciating these arts or the old hires, while Lynette is always thoughtfully looking at them, and she's always engaged in the business. So she's so busy. She kept busy, but Simon's always just act as he thinks. So I really wonder why Lynette took Simon. Okay, and anyway, after leaving that temple, there's one thing happening: the accident, the big rock rolling from the top of the valley, and it's almost hit the Lynette. That was really a tense moment. Yeah, if Simon didn't pull Lynette toward him, the rock might crush at Lynette like an eggshell. He says so. Someone says so. So the first and at the last of this chapter, Simon and also Mushipura thought that could be the Jacqueline. I guess the Jacqueline work. But Jacqueline was in the boat and staying over the night, I presume, by reading these sentences. So this might not be her, but we couldn't judge it. There might be some tricks. Somehow they go up to the valley and push the rock and hurry back to the boat. Could be, or maybe she paid money for those people. There was other local people's the show. Yes, hip hip hurry, very good, very nice. Something. There's the description of the local people is showing for earning money from the tourists. So maybe she could pay money for them to push a rock. That may happen. Maybe to threaten Lynette. I guess Lynette. No. Jacqueline don't want to kill Lynette at this time because she says she's not interested in killing. Although she's holding a pistol on his hand, but she can use it. She could use it anytime, but she didn't. Just because she's not interested in killing her, but she wanted to just foreign her and give her stress. That's her interest. So even if the Jacqueline did this, it's not a purpose to killing Lynette, I guess. This is just my guess with this chapter. But the last moment has some clues, like Miss Burns' shadow was slowly returning on the arm of Miss Burns a little further away. Mrs. Allerton was standing laughing at the little row of heads. Mr. Atterburn was with her. The others were nowhere in sight. So this may be some clue of this accident. If this is not an accident, I guess. But I can't judge right now. This accident might pull something or change their situations, change their emotions. I don't know. Not now. But still, this was one accident. This may affect something in a later stories, I guess. Okay, let's stop here. Today I've read Chapter 9 and I will post this in my YouTube channel. And in my YouTube channel, I am posting my English practice with Arab reading and free talking, and my Chinese reading and the Korean reading to get a journey to show a journey to become a polyglot in the future if I could. And if you like it, or if you want to practice with me, or if you want just following me, watching me of my progress, if I had the progress, just give me a like and subscribe to it. Thank you. Now I'm just posting this in X right now, and I will record this. I'm recording this at the screen record, and I post it in the YouTube too. Thank you for listening. There was 18 people watching this, and it's impressive. These worksheets are always growing day by day and time by time. one by another. Thank you. And I'm stopping here, and please come again the next time. Thank you. So, see you next time. Thank you. Have a great day. Bye bye.